Ladies and gentlemen, down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map from the team, Dream Team Gaming, he is Master E. As the blue Protoss he's facing off against, having secured 2 victories for his team. In the top right, from Team Acer, it's MMA.
I found his key to success. It's just change colors every game. And MMA has successfully done that.
I don't know why I thought that was going to be a play on words with the word key. Found the key to his success.
Huh.
There exists a... you ever notice, Kevin, like... when... I guess I should say, like, do you ever have the feeling that you're not noticing something that is there, but you know that it's there? You're like, I don't know, there's a solution to this. I just don't know where it's at.
Sure. Yeah.
I had to go to a birthday party last night. We just moved into the apartment, so it's basically empty. We have a desk. Is what we have. We have
with a computer
desk.
on it. I
yeah.
hope. Yes.
With,
good.
2 monitors on it somehow. It's the only thing we own. No bed. No cot. No soup bowls. Nothing. Except that computer desk.
Yeah.
But we had a friend who had a birthday yesterday, and I'm like, start telling Tim, I'm like, Tim, we gotta find a present. We gotta find a present. And he's like, we don't have anything to give him for a present. I'm like, no, there's something. There's some way. And so we start sifting through everything, and I'm telling him, I'm like, we gotta have something around here that's just perfect. And what do you know? We find the other day, Starbucks messed up our order really bad, so they gave us a free Starbucks cup, so they'll give you a free drink. And then went to this like San Francisco arts gallery thing. You know, they had all this art stuff, and there was this very pretty girl, so I, of course, had to walk up to her, and she was giving out some, she had cards, like cards to, I don't know, one of them was a birthday card. It had this cake and this real funny figure on it, and you open it up, it was a pony jumping over a unicorn with this guy on it, like a meme, and he was like, rah, happy birthday. I was like, I told you we would have the perfect things.
San Francisco art scene coming through in the clutch.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I forget what we started telling that story. I told myself I wouldn't forget, but I did, because I started thinking about that card and how hilarious it was. But welcome to TVP, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen a few of these. Sorry?
Yeah, Kibbles is easily amused by birthday cards. Note
It
yourself.
was actually, I took a picture of it. I will show it to you in between casts. I did.
Well, MMA's actually opening up the same way we saw last time. Ended up going for that refinery. He even took a risk to put down the factory as the Pro was still in his base. Knew that he was going to be able to catch up with the Marines, so cool stuff there. But otherwise, this looks identical to what we saw last time. Of course, if we see a second gas, it'll be much different. We'll probably see some sort of cloaked banshees or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Now, Master E is actually doing the same thing that Scar did. Going with a double gas build for now. Going to sit back, and of course, Scar ended up going after Robo and Twilight Council right afterwards.
And from here, from Master E, we're seeing much faster second gateway, and is chronoing out those stalkers, so it's almost like we're watching PvP.
Yeah, almost looks like 3 stalker builds.
Master E is so tired of the Zerg and the Terrans. He's like, no, you may not be Protoss, but I'm going to play like you are. And that would just throw everything off in this game. They wouldn't know what hit them. Suddenly we're going to see 4 Phoenix flying around, picking up queens that don't exist.
That would be awesome.
He is actually going into Hellions and a medevac again, so it's entirely possible with his constant Marine production as well. He is going to be up to 4, maybe 5 in a minute here.
Yeah.
I think it's actually 5. He's going to be up to 5 Marines because we got 1 down in the bottom, actually guarding the 3rd, which is just so clever. Making sure no pylons go down.
Yeah, so it looks like another Marine Hellion drop in just a bit. And Master E juked actually ends up a very nice job. Look at this. MMA just playing around with this Stalker for a while.
No, he didn't.
He got it out of there.
What?
That was pretty awesome.
Oh my god, that guy, he used to play Frogger. He's the one who set the high score on that machine at Barcadia.
Look at that. And this SCV is actually going to run directly into the Marines. The Stalker knows not to run into the gas vents because he would die.
I just want a gif of that, honestly. Like,
yeah, that was awesome. Well, MMA manages to survive with that SCV. Now, Master E's going up to a total of 4 gates and a Twilight Council here in just a second, so we'll be able to put on some pretty good pressure. He also has enough gas saved up to go for a Dark Shrine if he so desires.
That would be pretty crazy. 4-gate Dark Shrine. I do. Well, you know what? The gateway's nearing completion here. Yeah. It's the blink is started up. Going to of course be chrono boosted out. Quite chain chrono boosted, might we say, as well with the Nexus about to complete. And this is definitely going to be a pressure build, which is, I mean, blink on Daybreak, really?
Yeah.
This is going to be so unexpected.
Well, 3 Hellions could sneak in and do some pretty good damage. This drop actually going the long way around, but there's already Stalkers that are prepared for this. Of course, MMA is going to get a good scout on the Chrono Boosted Twilight Council, and with Stalkers on the field, there's only one thing that could be. The medevac, you know, there, healing up these units a little bit. And nice job, actually. MMA hasn't lost a unit quite yet, but he's not going to be able to snag himself any kills. Ends up making his way out of there. These 3 Hellions did clean up 1 probe, I believe.
Yeah. Looks like he did get the probe earlier, I guess.
The scouting probe, yeah.
Only Master E didn't get that legendary SCV.
Well, MMA going up to 3 barracks now, and of course starting to just produce non-stop Marauders because he knows it's Blink Stalkers. He saw a huge quantity of Stalkers on the field, and that's what he's going to have to worry about.
Definitely, and he got that information nice and early. You know, the blink had only been down for about, 30 seconds or so. Yeah, it was chrono boosted, so it's a little bit further along than that, but MMA has as much time to respond here as you could possibly need in order to make sure you're defended well against this build. And as we were saying, Daybreak, a surprising map for Blink. Why is that, might you say? It's actually not that effective if it gets scouted.
Right.
It's not like Cloud Kingdom or Antigua at all.
You don't have the ability. Okay, so here are your entrances into the natural. What are you going to do? Blink up on top of this? Well, you still have an eternity before you actually make your way over to the defensive position that a Terran player is going to prepare. Build on top of that. You have to get close enough, though, to be able to jump into the main. It's not like Antigua where you can just jump around the back at any given point in time. So there are very few passes you can actually duck in there and get damage done.
There is a cool trick, however, we've been seeing players do more and more. If you turn to that ramp, you know, at the natural, you can blink 1 Stalker kind of up from close to in front of the bunkers. You blink it onto the ramp. It gives you vision actually up the ramp, and you can blink the rest of your Stalkers in. But, I mean, it's just, that's your only maneuver. That's your only play. And when that's the only decision you have, MMA knows it. So he's going to try to deal with these Hellions right now. Should be able to do it pretty effectively.
Yeah, Grubby was actually the first player that I saw do that, as a matter of fact. And it was in a PvP, do the blink up and then, get at least 1 kill? No. All those probes surviving. Yeah, do the blink up with 1 Stalker, then blink up with the rest when he's trying to pressure with Blink Stalker against some sort of a defensive robo build. Yeah, very cool stuff.
So from here, Master E, he actually just killed 3 Hellions for absolutely no cost whatsoever, which is really, really nice for him because he's in a little bit of a tough spot, you know, after I'm going to open 4-gate blink and get nothing from it. He is moving into charge as well, so following suit from his teammate last game, charge about 3/4 of the way done at this time.
Yeah, but MMA's shown that every time he's been thrown some sort of charge lot storm, we saw it even in game number 2 on Entomb Valley. I mean, every game where there's been some sort of storm build or Templar-related build and not just Colossi, MMA's been able to handle it. He quickly goes over to a Ghost Academy and then really doesn't take much damage.
Yeah, that's completely true. Though no Ghost Academy started quite yet, at this stage, he's got 3 bunkers. Master E is just going to kill some destructible debris instead.
Yeah, and that's
just so conveniently rhymed. I'm sorry.
No, that's...
I would have called it debris if it was... Don't worry, I wouldn't have stretched it.
I'll allow it. The attack is commencing, though. Master E is going to try and put on some pressure, and he does manage to pick off 1 of the bunkers. Problem is that there's still 2 remaining, and the rest of these Blink Stalkers really aren't going to get anything done.
That was pretty worth it, though. He traded 3 or 4 Zealots there. Yes, only for 100 minerals necessarily, but all the SCVs came off the line. Some of them are still off the line. Now APM of MMA is being used to, you know, put these back on gas, and overall, not a bad trade there at all for Master E. I don't think he lost a Stalker. I think he just lost Zealots. He may have lost 1.
I like his risk he's taking with going for the early 3rd base, too. He's at a point where he's still behind, even making a decent little trade there. And MMA's actually not going to be too far behind this command center, but he's got to take a risk economically. He's got to take a risk in his tech. Somewhere he's got to be able to eke out an advantage.
Yeah, and this is a nice point because, you know, Protoss, if you go for the super fast third, it's not as beneficial as with any of the other races. With Terran, you get the mules. With Zerg, you get the extra production. With Protoss, you get a little extra chrono boost, but it's also, you know, it's the 400 minerals, and it's just the fact that it slows everything else down. In this circumstance, Master E's not giving up too much to put down this third. I really like the timing. It's not absurdly fast because we're 12 minutes in at this stage. It's just because of the pace of the game. It's a little bit, you know, we call it quick.
Right. Yeah, in comparison to where the game state was at, because obviously MMA was sitting on 2 bases for a long time. He wasn't going for that super quick Tasha 3 base sort of strategy. For now, though, it's a pretty decent army advantage for MMA. We take a look at the quality of his army. He's got 12 Marauders, 15 Marines. To his opponents, let's see. Okay, a couple of Archons morphing in as he gets Storm ready at the moment, but mostly just a handful of charge lots, a few sentries, and a lot of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah. Stalker's going to be attacking a factory up towards the top. We've got a split push here from MMA. Coming in from the top with some units as well as taking out a pylon in the bottom. We'll see if he can get some damage in at this 3rd base. No, Zealots and Archons immediately in position to repel them.
That could give MMA the power he needs to start charging through the front, though. An observer actually sitting overhead pretty much picks up on everything, so Master E is able to deal with that pretty efficiently.
Well, it looks like that is just a pylon going down. Not any cannons quite yet. Master E not seeming too concerned with holding this third. Storm nearly completed here. That's going to spell the end of a window that MMA may have had to get some damage done, as his Ghost Academy is not yet complete.
I agree with that.
You won't have any Ghosts to deal with this.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you know, at this point though, he's floating down his third base. I think he's actually going to take it, at the pocket base here, which is a little bit harder to defend, but of course he has the mobile orbital command on it that can lift and he can drop it back to the right. But the cool part is that you can just sit it on here, spam this with mules, mine it out as quickly as possible, and then have a more defensive base to take after that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a fantastic point because, you know, a lot of times you compare it to Protoss, who kind of use it as their focal point from where to stage attacks and where to stage defenses, whereas a Terran may just take it quickly in passing and try to empty it out as quickly as possible. Marines Marauders getting a couple of kills here. This is going to get a little difficult. Lots of pros being taken out as we had Master E kind of push back at the same time. There's a drop in the main base. MMA making things happen here, even though Storm's on the field.
Oh, nice job. Cancels one of the Zealots, warping into and depowers 4 gateways. And he's continued to kill more and more workers inside of the main. Looks like an engagement is actually showing, having a little bit of showdown here outside of the natural. But look at that, 28 workers killed and increasing. Even if MMA loses a good portion of this force, he's going to back away, probably has to lift this orbital command here in just a bit. He's still doing a ridiculous amount of damage inside of the main.
I mean, at this stage, Master E's got to go for the all-in. If we take a look at the upgrades of both of these players right now, Master E, you know, he doesn't have any of the armor upgrades. It's still on the way. In fact, he's got no weapons upgrades either. And at this MMA, on the other hand, guys, he's got his +2 weapons on the way. I'm not too sure about his armor upgrades, but we know he's got that advantage, and that's going to make it so tough for Master E to be able to secure this victory.
Yeah, he's 1-1 right now. So
he needs to push.
Yeah, he has 1-1.
Cannot wait.
Well, you know, if we take a look at things, I mean, I can understand the desire to want to sit back and try and, you know, just gather yourself up, make sure that, you know, everything is a little bit safe and secure afterwards. And he actually, I mean, he didn't want to continue to trade cost inefficiently, but he could have actually stood in there for a little while longer and continued to kill those Zealots. So good stuff there. Oh, picks up, but feedback actually hits a medevac that doesn't have any energy on it.
Yeah, neither of those really having too much left. Master E just trying to do what he can from here. He's going to catch a couple of medevacs. That's not too bad. But at this point now, MMA's got his Ghost. He's got his entire army gathered together. 175 supply to just 130. Master E, I don't know how he's going to get his way out of this one, Kev.
No, I mean, MMA didn't take any damage from a follow-up attack. Even though he wasn't able to saturate this base here in the middle, he's still got it off to the right now. So third base up and chugging away. Doesn't have, I mean, he needs a little bit of gas right now, but honestly, he can just pump a lot of very cheap units and just throw them at his opponent.
Yeah. Master E I mean, he may have not been able to. That could have been the harsh reality of it. But he needed to make something happen with that counterattack, because a lot of MMA's units were tied up, you know, in his main at his third. He had a good 20 supply probably tied up in harassment. So if Master E pushed across the map, he's got a nice little army advantage going on. But at this stage, I mean, now MMA, you know, he's actually got +2, +1 completed. Master E has armor, level 1.
Yes.
It's a huge advantage for MMA. Not just, you know, 30 supply worth, but also in the quality of his units.
But it is actually the 30 supply advantage is big too, because this is just a staggeringly large army. Yes, if he sits underneath a couple of storms, it could end up getting very bad for him. But look at this. EMPs hitting all the forces once again. You would think that the Protoss players from Dream Team Gaming would be watching out for those from now on, but MMA's just going to crush this force. This is going to be obliterated. There it is, GG right away. MMA's won 3 games in a row against Protoss players, and he has put Acer just 2 games away from taking the entire set.
Playing really, really crisp and clean as MMA now, guys. I mean, he has just taken 3 games in a row, as you said, and his play against Protoss right now is really, really good. I would be surprised if DTG sends out another toss against him.
Looks like it's actually going to be a Terran player. So Pulsar is the next player coming in for Dream Team Gaming. Guys, we are going to run to a quick commercial break, but when we get back, we're going to have game number 5. We're also going to throw it to our SC2 Daily News segment, so check that out right after this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kevin Naki here with your IPL StarCraft 2 Daily News for January 4th, 2013. EG is on a roll in the IPTL, taking out Prime last night with a 1-2-3 combo from Puma, Thorsian, and Jaedong. Jaedong came in for the fatality on Maru there at the end. Great game. Check out the VOD. Rumors are swirling around what team Naniwa will sign with in 2013. Western Wolves is currently the front runner, but keep your eyes peeled for an announcement in the next few weeks as to what team he'll actually sign with. Total Biscuit hinted that Axiom might be getting a team house in Korea. His wife, Axiom team manager Jenna Bain, confirmed that news later on. The match tonight for IPTL is Enes Hosa versus Fnatic in Group A of the Contender Division. Make sure to tune into all of our content at IGN.com/IPL. This is Kevin Naki with your daily StarCraft 2 news update, signing out.